Welcome to the Yogalebrity Podcast. My name is Angelica Govert, and I am here joined with Kat Wernow. She is one of my students that I've worked with for a very long time. Absolutely love her. She also came to my Sedona yoga retreat. She has something really incredible that she offers. She offers yoga blocks, cork blocks that are engraved with your logo or your, like my personal mantra is live your dream. You could get that engraved on there. You could get your studio name engraved. They're really awesome. They're really incredible. She has her own business. I love it. She's also a yoga teacher. She is a 500-hour certified registered yoga teacher. She is amazing. She taught her first class at our Sedona yoga retreat, which was super fun and cool. And she's just a wonderful human being filled with light and love. She's a mom and she's a hard worker. She has a YouTube channel. She puts out fun content on Instagram. Sometimes she has a talking block, which I really love, and it makes me laugh. I laugh harder than everyone else, but I love the talking block. So anyhow, Kat, welcome to the podcast today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited.
So, we're gonna deep dive into your story and how you became a yoga teacher. And, I want you to just feel free to share, even if it's struggles or anything like that, because it really helps other people to understand that you don't have to be perfect to be a yoga teacher. The situation doesn't have to be perfect. The timing doesn't have to be perfect. So share the good, the bad, share with us all the dirt. Let us know everything. So why did you decide to become a certified yoga teacher?
Well, so I had kind of a long, drawn out journey. I started taking yoga with friends, and then I finished school and I was married and we had kids, and I kind of practiced and kind of didn't on and off. And then when my kids were old enough to be in school, I was like, I really like yoga. Like, I am better, calmer, it was really good for me. So, I kind of started looking into trainings, but most of our trainings were in person and our schedule is crazy and I couldn't do it. So I found an online training and that was my 200 hour and I completed it eventually because there
How
was
long did it take you because you took your 200 hour, you did not take your 200 with me, you took your 300 with me. You took your 200 with Yoga Renew, and I know that you were like, there were things about it that weren't optimal. And there were things that were optimal. That's the way with everything. And so what can you tell us a little bit about your experience with that? Because I know a lot of people consider that. A lot of people come to my training who took that training. And a lot of people I know consider that training because it's very, very low cost. Whereas my trainings aren't low cost, but they're very effective. My trainings get people an ROI. They get people to actually focus on their dreams and actually be on a schedule and make it happen. And they're about holding you accountable and giving you a higher level of service and a higher level of product. But I know a lot of people consider that training. So can you share your experience in the training, the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Sure. So I really didn't know what I was signing up for. And again, cost, right? I was like, I don't know if I want to teach. I'm going to buy this inexpensive one. It took me at least a year, maybe even longer. I drug it out as long as possible. I really thought it would be a lot of sequencing, and I didn't realize how much like history and anatomy and other things were part of it. So I really drug it out. So there was some good information in there. There are a lot of videos, but there's no accountability. And if I didn't sign up for your 300, I may have never finished because I finished so I could move on to yours. Honestly. Um, so yeah, I finished that and I felt like, okay, I know some stuff, but I don't really know enough to teach and I don't know what I'm doing. And so I went to the Yoga Expo, which is where I saw you first.
Yeah, that's where we became fast friends forever.
Yes. And I took your class and I was like, I like her. And I think in your class, you're like, you don't have to be crazy. You can just teach a good class. Like, that's a good thing. Teach a good class. And I'm like, yeah, because I live in a big city, and like there's all kinds of like there's every kind of yoga you could imagine out here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it's like, oh yeah, I could just learn the fundamentals and do a good job being a teacher. And then you live in Vegas and I don't, so I'm like, how am I going to get to Vegas and how am I going to take this class? And you offered your online class.
Yeah.
So that's when I signed up for your 300 hour, which is amazing because you get all the knowledge, you get the yoga knowledge, you get business knowledge, which is kind of a hard concept to like merge the yoga and the business. And then the calls with you every week, which was great because I know there were a few videos you're like, I think we need to redo that. That was not quite. And I'm like, yes, I know. I got it done for my assignment, but it's not what it should be. So it held me accountable. It was great. It's what I needed.
Yeah. I think if you look back at what your first video was and you look back at the videos that you're making now, like what's your thoughts on where you were when your first video in the corner
Oh
in
my
your
gosh.
office to the videos that you're making now?
My first video was very like deers in the headlight. I was terrified. I'm trying to read the things, and my brain's like, don't forget all the words that you need to say. Never smiled. It's very kind of robotic. It's terrible. They're terrible. And now I can like move a little bit and like
Yeah, I
not.
think now you're finding your stride in your content. There's less pressure and there's more focus on creating content that actually drives your business forward, right?
It does. And that takes practice. So being able to do that week after week with your course forces you to do the practice, which is what I needed. So that was great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What do you think has been like for your yoga journey? Like what do you think has been kind of the most important things? Like what have you loved about yoga? What have you loved learning about yoga? What are the things that you've really enjoyed becoming a yoga teacher? Like what's transformed you the most?
For me, well, I'll say a big thing for me is I was going through a lot of emotional stuff. So like I had to work through grief, and I was using this as like a positive thing to do. And I definitely need kind of like a checklist, like, yes, I've accomplished something. So that helped me like um just have a positive reinforcement week after week while I was working through the other emotional stuff. And then what else have I learned? Like the other thing I've learned is you don't have to be perfect.
Mm.
Like I'm not really a perfectionist, but if I know I don't know how to do something well, I'll just be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And so this has kind of helped me to like, well, you could try. You can just try to do it and you'll get better. And that's a good life skill, right? Like I should have learned that a long time ago, but here we are.
Right, we learn it along the way. It's fine. It's fine. When you look back at your journey, I mean, let's just talk about some of the things you've accomplished. So, like, since the beginning of your 200 hour to where you
Mhm.
are today, because you took my 300 hour and then you took the Empowered Yoga Teachers course. So, where you started at your 200 to where you are today, let's talk about like some tactile things that you have now that you didn't have then. So, you have a YouTube channel, for instance, like what are some other things that you've accomplished?
So we started the YouTube channel. I am posting more on the Instagram. I've set up an Etsy account for my yoga blocks that I sell, that business. And learning how to promote and learning how to like put out an ad. And also, I was also an extreme introvert. I was going to say that. I'm like extreme introvert. So this has helped. It just continues to pull me out of my shell a little bit, put my information out there in the world. So that's a big personal accomplishment to do things.
One of the things I've noticed too is like how much you've connected with other people. Like you're kind of I would say you're one of the leaders in the community that people really want to
Yeah.
connect with. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about connecting with the rest of the community and how that's kind of felt for you?
That's been amazing. Especially the people like in Sedona who are also in like the empowered community. It is just really nice to have a group of people that are supporting each other and they want to help each other out and they'll go over the material you have. So if you're going to put out an ebook or, I made a course, an online course, they can look at it and be like, okay, hey, like these are good things. These maybe need polished a little bit. And then they're from all over the country. I think you have people in Canada. Like it's really good input from everyone. And it's great to meet all these people and you're all doing the same thing and you're all supporting each other. Like there's no competition. There's no like negative part. It's all just a positive group.
I think I would agree with that. And I think that one of the big things for me when I owned the studio that I didn't like was I felt alone all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
now online, I don't feel that way. Like I feel like I have all of you. Like you're my community. Like I love all of you. I'm so excited to like get on the calls with you and to be a part of the community and see you all come on the Zoom and your cameras pop up and I'm like, yay, it's Kat, and yay, like everybody that joins in and oh, it's Tiffany and like it's just really great to see everyone and Gigi, and just to have everybody just pop up on the video and be there and it's almost like we're together and it's really weird
Mm-hmm.
because when we are together like we're going to be at the yoga expo again together and we were at the Sedona yoga retreat together, we are together, it feels like we've always been together.
Yeah, it's super comfortable. It's great. I mean, I never thought being in a house with 12 people I'd never met in person would be like, I was a little worried, but it was so fun. It was so fun. And I came back, I was like so relaxed and happy, or like just let go of a lot of things. It was a great experience. But yeah, I love these weekly calls. We see each other, like you said, it's not as lonely because being an entrepreneur anyway is lonely. And yeah, the support and it is a good community. It really is.
It really is, like it's worth it just for the community. Like
Yes.
I mean
And
like
it
just
keeps you on track. You're
yeah.
like, hey, it's the holidays. I don't know what to do. And somebody's like, oh, well, I'm going to offer this. And maybe you should offer that. And it's really great. Yeah.
The masterminding aspect of it, like together we're one mind, or separately we're one mind, but together we're a mastermind. We have like multiple ideas and I even bounce off ideas off of other people in the group because then it's like you have this concept of like, even if you don't know, everyone else could maybe bring you in to an idea that you never thought about. And I know like I was excited that you did a Black Friday offer. I remember my first Black Friday offer. Mine was a complete flop, but at least I tried. Like I didn't make any sales at all my first Black Friday, but I tried, you know?
And I love that with the community. We're all like, okay, we're gonna try this, and everyone encourages you to do it. And yeah, and then we can all share like, okay, well, it was okay, or maybe you didn't make sales, but you tried and you learned this and you learned this program, and it's so great. Yeah.
Yeah, you get better at stuff over time and like I um I remember like getting started and just being like so frustrated that I wasn't making progress. But what I realize now is that I needed all of those experiences where I quote unquote failed,
Hmm.
to be able to be where I am now. Like I needed to write a bunch of really bad email sequences to figure out how to make good email automations. Like I
Yeah.
needed to I needed to make like 10 ebooks before I wrote a good one, like I needed to like understand, the the software and to go through those moments where you're just like in tears because you can't figure out how to upload a header picture to your landing page.
I do know, and you have to hear it over and over. Like, I've heard about systems. Your business needs a system. And I watched your old podcast yesterday and you mentioned systems, and I'm like, it's been 2 years, like it's clicking. Like I get it's more like, what are you talking like system? Doesn't make sense. Like, is it a thing? Do you buy like what's a system? Okay, now I got it.
Yeah, I think it was honestly like in the 2-year mark when I started to like really get serious and really get consistent and
Hmm.
have like, okay, this is when I record content. This is what I'm mapping it out. This is what I'm going to record. This is when I'm editing. This is when I'm posting it. This is my schedule. These are what my offers are. This is how I present those offers to the public. And, like I have friends that have been doing this for over 10 years. And so they give me the perspective of, like I'm actually like really far ahead. Like
Hmm.
my friend Lissa that I talk about all the time, who because she was the
Yeah.
chef at the Sedona retreat. She's going to be the chef again. You're going to be at the retreat again.
Yes. Can't
You're
wait.
already signed up. There are some really great people signed up for the retreat this time. Megan's coming. I don't know if you met Megan, but she's one of my favorite clients. I love her so much. You're going to love her. And I'm so glad that you're coming back. And Noelle's going to be there. And it's going to be like a really great retreat. I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too.
And anyhow, Lissa was telling me, how she couldn't leave her full-time job until she was like 4 years into this. So I was able to do that much earlier, and I think it's the consistency. But something I'd really like to talk to you about, because it's not my experience to have to juggle my schedule. Like I 100% focus on this. There's nothing else in my life. I mean, I might go to yoga classes, and I after this, I got to go down to the cable company and drop off the modem so they don't charge me. And then I'm going to go to a yoga class. I'm going to come back and work the rest of the afternoon. But I get to just set up my schedule. And one of the things you said to me was like, oh, my husband's taking care of the kids so that I
Hmm.
can be clear to be on this podcast. And so that experience is not something that I have. And I know I recently did a podcast where I talked about how it's just easier if you don't have children. And so, you do have children. And I know that I see it in the comments section, people really struggle with how to balance having children and then also having your own dreams and goals and things that you want to create and things that you want to do. And where are you finding balance in that? Where are you not finding balance in that? And how is that kind of evolving for you over time?
I would say it's another, learned skill. Trying to find some balance, especially so the kids can't be home alone. Or I have one that can, but the other one's still too little. And so someone has to be home to watch them or take them or, you know, soccer, softball, Girl Scouts, whatever. Like our schedule is just all over the place. So it's definitely a struggle for me to balance. And then sometimes when I have downtime, I don't want to do anything else. I'm like, it's quiet. Um, but I also think it's very important to have a dream, try to do it. Even, I knew it would take me a little longer because of the kids and the schedule, but also they know I'm doing this. They see me working. I'm like, I have school, I have meetings. They, pop their little faces into the empowerment course all the time. So they like see me doing it. And I think that's important for them also to be like, oh, mom's trying to do her dream. She's trying to do her business. Or I shouldn't say try. I am doing this dream. I'm doing this business. And they get to see it and they get to see some of the work I put in and, see what it takes. I think that's important for them. So that's kind of how I try to emotionally balance. Like, okay, I need to do a little bit more here on the work side and then my husband's great. If he can, he'll take them and run them and do whatever so I can do this. But, it's gonna be out of balance for a couple more years. And then I could probably focus heavily on this and a little less on driving everyone around and doing all the things.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I know Rebecca, one of my students, she just opened a yoga studio in Louisville, Kentucky, and are like outside of there. And she waited till her kids all went to college, you know. So it's definitely for a mom life, there are different priorities. And I don't think that that's all bad. Like people will be like, "Oh, I don't have a career, or mom should have a career or whatever." And like honestly, the greatest gift that you can give to the world is well-developed children who will then go and create an incredible experience on this planet for people in the future. And so like I think that they both have value. Like creating your business has value, but also being a great mother has value too. And like you said, your children get to see you creating something and building something and watching you grow. And I've watched you grow significantly. Like the person that came into my teacher training and to my 300-hour, last year, was it last year? It was last year.
Can you believe it was like January, February last year?
It really wasn't that long ago, honestly, but like now I see that you're so much like you're more vibrant, you're more outgoing, you're more confident, and I've seen your content grow. So like really you're like a year into this.
Yeah, I'm really like 1 year into focusing on it. And I started with the blocks a little bit earlier, but then, like I said, life was all crazy then. So it was kind of a roller coaster. So I knew that this year, and going back to being a mom, like I knew I wanted to start learning these tools and getting things set up so that when they did get to a point where they really don't need me all the time, that then I have something that I can like fill into that slot,
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea because honestly, it takes about a year to 3 years to really be thriving online.
Mhm.
you know and that's with like absolute consistent content creation and focus. I think I love that you're on Etsy because Etsy has its own like SEO, and I have friends that live in when we lived in the camper, I have friends that also live in campers who do Etsy, and that's how they make their living.
You can do really well.
Yeah, I have another friend that does t-shirts, and they live in a much nicer house than we do, and she sells on Etsy. Every time I go over there, I'm like, damn, Andrea, this is really nice. You think about like, what are the choices I made in my life? I chose adventure over stuff. So like we lived in a camper for 7 years. We lived on a sailboat for a year. We traveled around, and I've traveled all over the world. I've been to 32 different countries, and I've opened 3 yoga studios. I have an online business. So I think, my focus was always different. My money always went into my businesses, and into my travel, and not into a house or stuff or anything like that. A lot of the stuff that we have is really old. I bought this for $10 at Sam's Club 2 years ago, and I'm still wearing it today.
I can relate, the mom attire, you maybe get a couple things here and there, and you just wear it till it
going on, the same vibe, just a different color. And for my 50th birthday, my friend got me a silk robe, like washable silk. And I looked it up on their website afterwards because I was like, oh, I really like this. Maybe I would get like a pajama set or something to go with it. And it was really costly. And I was like, wow. But I've never had anything like super nice like that because I don't like, that's not where I put my money. But it's so silky and smooth and like feels so comfortable. She's like, everyone that's 50 should have something luxurious.
Well, I'm still in the it's got to be cotton, easy to wash. That's my face.
Well, it's washable silk, all right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I do not do dry clean only. There's never going to be that luxury in my life.
I used to do dry clean only when I worked at L'Occitane. I would just do all my stuff in dry cleaning. I just drop it off and pick it up. But we make choices. I think that was the hardest thing about turning 50 is that we make choices in our life. And I realized that statistically, from a statistical standpoint, based on life expectancy, the majority of my life's decisions have already been made. Like I can't go back and be like, I'm going to be a young mom and have 4 kids, like that's never going to be my existence. What I've chosen is what my life really ended up being. And I think that was the hardest part about turning 50. Not, everybody's like, oh, it's just a number. I don't care that I'm older. I'm grateful to be old. Like my mom only lived till she was 61. My uncle died at 55 last year. And, I've had many boyfriends in my life, and a lot of them have passed away. And so it's always, for me, it's like, I'm just grateful to still be alive and to be like last night I went and did aerial yoga, like I'm like still like physically very active and doing what I want to do. Um, but we do make choices in our life, and I think that we gaslight ourselves into like, well, we should have done this or you should have done that. And like reality is that we're just humans, like you can only choose so much, you can only get so much done in a day, you can only do so many things in a lifetime. And I think we ultimately have to be like really happy with the things that we chose, and I think that that's the cool thing about online is that now you can have this business after your
Right.
kids are grown, but you still had the experience of being with your kids. And maybe you didn't have, the business that when you were younger, but now, anybody can do it. It doesn't matter. One of my favorite YouTube channels, she was in her 60s when she started her channel. And she's got like a great big channel. I love her. She does Mediterranean minutes. I think it's called Mediterranean minutes. She does like Mediterranean diet stuff. She's amazing. And I just love her, and she's really cool, so like I think that there's room for everybody, and the internet like makes it a big equalizer.
I agree. And it does open up so many more options and more doors.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your block business, the cork blocks. Why did you choose cork blocks, and what can people get from your, if they decide to order a block from you, what are some options for them? Tell us about your company.
Okay. So I started with blocks because, and I've told you, I am not flexible. As much as I love yoga, my hamstrings and other things are like, no, you're not doing that. So I needed them. And I always felt a little bit embarrassed. And I don't know why. Maybe that's my introvert side. But I'm like, let's promote this because I need it. My husband needs blocks if he does yoga. It's useful, and it could be anything from not being flexible to maybe you just can't balance well or your ankles aren't gonna support you or whatever. So I found these little blocks. It's a small
It's two
company.
colors.
Thank you.
I love that.
This is my little, if you see this little starfish, that's me. It's a small company from Portugal, and they like harvest the block and they make these blocks. And you can get like therapy balls of all kinds of things. So I order from them. It helps protect the Portugal forest and the animals that live there. It's biodegradable. It's recyclable. Like cork is just, it's antibacterial. Cork's amazing. It does all kinds of cool stuff. And then for a little added, if you want to add your logo or your favorite saying, we can engrave it. So here's like San Diego. Wow. This is similar to your thing, actually, which I didn't realize, but
oh yeah, I like
my
it.
certificate. So we can do sayings. I've done names. I've done like a mother and daughter block. Or
do you like design the lettering and stuff? Like if I wanted to get something that said like Yogalebrity, could you like design the lettering and everything?
Yes, I can design it, and I can do like a whole mock-up so you can decide if that's what you like.
Oh, wow.
I do have a customer with a website that's got a QR code. So we scan the QR code and put it on the bottom, and then when you scan the block, it's his. So when he gives it out, it's his website.
Wow.
That one was a little scary. We had to test every block, so I'm like, I can make sure this works.
It's crazy. Where do people get these blocks? Do they go to your website, or do you want them to go to Etsy? Like, where is the best place to get the blocks?
If you go to our website, coastalcalmyogaco.com, you can order the block. And I've got this little bit smaller size, and then this is the traditional, like, this is what you would normally find in a foam block.
Oh, okay.
And this one's just a little smaller.
Okay.
But this is also good for travel. Like, I took this with me to Sedona. I put 2 of them in my suitcase.
Oh,
because they're light.
wow. That's nice. I'm on your site right now. I'm looking at it. Oh, you also have balls?
Yes, so like little therapy balls for sore muscles.
Oh,
And
wow.
you can wash these because cork is just, the wood bark. So I just wash them off or wipe them down and use it again. It's
Do you
excellent. That muscle that's back here, It's,
do you have straps too?
yes, I have yoga straps.
Oh,
I got all the
well,
props.
tell me about everything.
Organic yoga straps. It's got the little buckles. So you can do the loop. These are like 10 feet long because my husband's 6 foot tall and he needs
Yeah,
long
like a long
straps.
one too. Yeah, I'm
hmm
5'8".
But yeah, they're nice, organic, thick cotton. You can make your loop.
It's so nice too because the cheap blocks, the cheapy ones you get at TJ Maxx, those are not good for you. They're in, indi, endocrine disruptors,
hmm
and they're not good for you. You know, they don't vibrate. Like everything is vibration, right? So everything we
Right.
feel, everything we do, everything we experience is vibration. And we live in the city now in Las Vegas, Nevada. Like I said, we used to live in a camper. And one of the things that I really liked about living in nature was that it was so quiet.
hmm
And I can literally hear the hum of the city when I'm laying in bed at night. I can hear it, and it's disruptive. Um, and everything that we're interacting with has these qualities: sattva, raja, and tamas. These are the three gunas in yogic philosophy. And so, like, living in Las Vegas is like a raja's experience. It's like rapid, like, you know. And using a PVC or those foam blocks is like a Thomistic experience. It's like lethargic and death, right? But using a cork block is like a sattvic experience. It's like lightness, health, high vibration, and then even like, you know, we know about the Morimoto that did the studies on water, and he would like write words on water, and then the water would infuse with the energy of that word. So you're getting things engraved with something that's meaningful to you onto these cork blocks. And then that energy is being infused inside of the block and then being infused inside of you. So every time you use it, it's like this lightness, this sattva, this happiness, this energy, this high vibration. So I think it's just really beautiful.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And I love how cork is environmental. At one point, I was like, oh, I'm going to be an environmentalist, and then that, decisions didn't happen. But they just take the cork from the outside of the tree. The tree's fine. It protects the forest because they need to harvest it. It protects the animals. Like it's good for you, but then it also I feel like it's good for the planet. It's good for the animals. It's recyclable. Like it's yeah, a very good high energy vibe. That's what I want to say.
Wow. So you can get you have like a starter set here. What's in your starter set?
It's 2 blocks, and then you get the strap. I feel like I should scoot back a little, and the therapy ball.
Okay. Okay.
And
And
then,
then,
of course, you can, if you want, you can email me and we can engrave it with your beautiful
wow.
saying or logo or whatever.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm going to order this afternoon.
Yeah.
I want to get some that say Yogalebrity, and then can you get like, I want to have like Yogalebrity and live your dream because that's my mantra is live your dream.
Yeah.
Can I get both of those things on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like,
I,
let's
I'm
live
I'm
this
thinking
forever.
like how many words? Yeah, you do want to have a good size, but that's why we mock it up so we can make sure that
Oh. Can you
because
get
if
it
the
on
letters
both
are
sides?
what was that?
Can I get it on both sides?
Yeah, you can do both sides.
So one side could say Yogalebrity and the other side could say live your dream.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes. We did one where one side was all it was like Zen, happiness, harmony, and then the other side was the studio.
Wow. Well, one of the things that I'm toying around with in the new
hmm
year, I'm going to be doing 75 hard again with the crew. And this video will probably come out in the new year, but one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is starting a new YouTube channel that's just me teaching classes. And then why not have blocks with my name on it? Why?
Then every video will be like Yogalebrity.
Yogalebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm trying to decide, like, if I do start a new YouTube channel that's just asana, because one of the things I see is that like people make these YouTube channels and they only focus on one thing on their channel. And I feel like my channel is just kind of all over the place. It's like, this is my podcast and here's some tips and here's this, and I made this video, right? But like, I feel like I could have something better. I never really did YouTube. I'm an Instagrammer.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite social platform? What do you like to do the most?
I would say I like Instagram the most, which was a learning curve because I didn't use it at all before I had a business. I like consuming on YouTube, but making the videos is less exciting, I guess.
I like consuming on TikTok. I fell asleep TikToking last night and my phone fell on my face.
Oh no.
And it hurt so bad that I cried. So
Oh.
that's a bad. But my friends that are influencers, the people who have a good, strong YouTube following make the most money.
I definitely want to focus more on YouTube this year. I liked, again, with your course, like setting it up and doing the videos when it was done. I liked it. I need to just get more in the habit of the doing it part.
Right, I know. YouTube is like a monster because it's time consuming.
Yeah,
It
is.
But it's also the biggest reward, which always is time consuming. So anyhow, I love your blocks. I love everything that you offer, your whole suite. You also have journals, right?
I do. I can do journals. And we can engrave on there, but the texture is a little different. I was looking to see if I had one. Oh, I do have one next to me.
Okay.
One I'm using. It's got a tab.
Nice.
So these ones need like big words because otherwise it gets lost in the texture.
Okay. Wow. I love that.
And then they're little blank pages. So if you want to draw or doodle or whatever, however your mind.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, if you could leave everyone with one thing that you think that they should know about yoga, about life, about living, what is your one thing, your thing that you think is the most important thing that every day you should just wake yourself up and remind yourself? What's something that you think everyone should know?
Something everyone should know. I want to say happiness is a choice. You can wake up every day, choose to be happy, do things you love.
That's a really good one. Happiness is a choice. I didn't know that in life in the beginning. I thought that it like just some people were happy and some people weren't. And that's not reality. Like we do have to make a decision to be happy, and every morning I wake up and I'll be like, okay, how are we going to make this a good day?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work, but you gotta still do it because most of the time it does.
Right? We don't know how many days we have left. I always try to remember, like, this could be my last day, and how do I want to live it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, well, Kat, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to hanging out with you again at Yoga Expo, and then, of course, at the Sedona Yoga Festival. Everyone, definitely go get your block with your name on it, and or a saying or something that's important to you. Get that cork block because you want to vibrate your energy really nice and high. We'll leave a link to everything in the description. Give Kat a follow on YouTube and on Instagram. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Great. Thank you. It's been wonderful. Can't wait to see you.
Well, I appreciate all of you so much for listening. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. I really, really do. And I would love if you would subscribe to the podcast, follow us, and definitely leave us a 5-star review and share with your friends so that we can make more podcasts for you. Let us know what it is that you want to hear about if we're not already doing that. And look forward to seeing y'all in the next podcast.